Okay, we're recording and we're missing people. Just cards. Everybody here? Who we missing? Nobody. Okay, we missed the property standards bylaw 5/16/02/851. I'll have Christine speak to this first, and then we'll have discussion.
This is a committee that needs to be appointed under the Planning Act. I was directed by Council. 3 new members have been appointed. We have thanked the previous folks who served on this committee. Mrs. Burns, Mr. Cull, and Mr. Cobb have all received letters, or hopefully they have. They've gone out in the mail thanking them for their previous service. And the new members, as appointed by this council, are Andrew Coulis, Mel Langton, and Ed Desjardins.
Discussion? Councillor Olmsted.
Personally, I'd like to table this one. I haven't got my head wrapped around it completely, and I know we had some discussions that night about members and that kind of stuff, but I don't think any specifics came out. And I do remember names being bantered around, but I think as a council, I'd like to discuss maybe the individual members. And anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. I would support that as well. I was away on holidays when this meeting took place, and I think I would like to study it some more too and review it with council further. Councillor Jackson.
My understanding from the Property Standards Committee is that in the last number of years it has never sat. It's only when there is a discrepancy or a disgruntled that you need an appeal sort of thing from a decision that was made by the bylaw enforcement officer, and they go out and they take a look at it and they either agree or disagree with the findings of the bylaw enforcement officer, and it's kind of a little bit of a meeting that gets decided. I don't know how much more information you need. It's appointed by the current council. It doesn't mean that these people will be appointed next year, or that they will continue on for the next 10 years, or that they will continue on for the next term of council. This is the recommendation by the mayor. And looking at it, I know Andrew Coulis, certainly has a lot of building knowledge. Mel Langton is a business owner in the municipality, and I understand Ed Desjardins also, he's from the Westmeath area. So it kind of gives a broad spectrum of representation. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know that there's much more thought that needs to be put into it. To put it off just because you may or may not like these people, I don't understand, or you may or may not agree that the names need to be changed, but the bylaw needs to come into play, because the other one, I understand, is has expired, the term, so we do have to appoint. It's up to this council to appoint, and it's important that we get this passed for our if there is anything that arises out of the bylaw that we just passed recently. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just, we need to have a committee. I mean, it can be anybody, but it doesn't restrict it. And I understand, I certainly thank the members that were on it before, understanding that they never had to sit, thankfully. And moving forward, I think these are good as people as any, and if they're called upon, they're willing to be called upon.
Okay, thank you. My concern, and it is a touchy issue, but I believe, if I understand it right, this whole matter was brought to our attention by these people. I think in Donna's case, I think she wrote a letter in here making us aware of this committee had to be redone. And we've got a lot of division in the community, and granted, I wasn't here for that meeting, and it was a closed meeting, which I question a little bit if it should have been a closed meeting. I'm not an expert on municipal law, but I understood it was on the 20th of January.
It wasn't all closed with regards to this issue.
I believe, I went back and looked in the closed session minutes, and so now we're discussing in open session items that were discussed in closed. It was left that you had agreed that the mayor would provide me with 3 names and I would draft the bylaw. That was what was decided.
Okay. I'm going to ask for something abnormal here, and I've seen it done before. And I'm going to ask for council a show of hands to allow Mrs. Burns to speak to this. She is a member of our community, and out of respect for her, I would like to let her speak to it. All those in favor? Councilor Olmsted?
Sorry, I want, before we even went down that road, I don't think it's a good idea to let somebody speak at this point in time on this, as I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around it. But, so have these 3 people been contacted and they've accepted?
Yes.
Okay.
And the letters have gone out.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
And I personally think it is healthy to roll over members of committees, same as we're trying to do with our standing committees. I think it's healthy that we do roll them over. But I don't know who was saying that every year they're nominated. I see this one is for a term ending December 31st, 2018. So I think that's almost our full term, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably not a big deal because they haven't sat in the last 4 or 5 years. So.
Yeah, I don't think the committee itself is a big deal, like you say, but I think the connotations that go along with some of it might be a bigger deal than we think, and that's just my opinion. Anyway, I will.
So, are you going to re-vote on that, now that we've added on that other bylaw?
So read it all again.
Well, just with the revisions that we've added on that other bylaw to need to ask.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region approves that the following bylaws be introduced, read, dealt with, and numbered, signed by the mayor and clerk, and sealed and recorded in the bylaw book. And we're just adding number 5/16/02/851. All those in favor? Oh, yeah, all those in favor? It's carried.
So we'll move on to correspondence. You don't need to read them one by one, Terry. You can just ask if anyone has any correspondence too. And I've got them here.
Are they in my pile?
No, they're here.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, they're right here.
Okay, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region receives and files correspondence.
One through 3.
1 through 3. I'll give it to Christine for a minute.
So the first one is just an acknowledgement. We had written a letter of support for the county for Warden Emol's letter that he sent to the province regarding the expansion of Highway 17. So this notes that our letter in support of the warden was received at the provincial level. So that's just for information. Number 2 is the Renfrew County Seniors Games. Every year they ask for a donation for their games. so I will give this to the treasurer to go into the pile of grant applications for budget time. And number 3 is a motion regarding the Ontario Municipal Board decisions, asking for more autonomy, and that requiring the OMB to uphold any planning decisions of municipal councils unless they are contrary to the process and rules set out in legislation. And I didn't know if you would want to support that or not. It's here for information. So if you would like me to draft a resolution of support, I can bring it back.
Discussion? Anybody? Okay. Oh, Councillor Olmsted.
Sorry, on the, just reading through the last one here in the Town of Aurora Council resolution. You just put that in layman's terms for us? And
Well,
what
I think what they're asking for, the Ontario Municipal Board has wide-reaching powers, and what they're asking is that be it resolved that the Government of Ontario require the Ontario Municipal Board to uphold any planning decisions of municipal councils. So they want the OMB to respect decisions made at the municipal level and uphold them unless they are contrary to rules set out in legislation. So they're asking for more support and more autonomy, and that the OMB not pick everything apart, and that if a municipal council has deemed that something should pass, unless it's contrary to other rules and legislation, that it should be upheld.
Councillor Olmsted.
I think it'd be very important for us to support that type of a motion, especially with what we're up against with the current Amendment 11 and some of the issues that we may be facing going forward.
Yeah.
So how about then if I draft a resolution of support for this and we'll bring it back?
Anybody else? Okay. So,
1 through 3.
okay, we're going to vote on that one. All those in favor? It's carried. Okay, new business. Moved by Charlene Jackson, seconded by Chris Olmsted. Be it resolved that Council of Township of Whitewater Region supports the County of Renfrew's installation of a all-way stop at the intersection of La Passe Road, Gore Line, Hart, Gervais, Strat, Lacroix Bay Road. All those in favor? Didn't we do this? Christine, yeah.
So just a reminder, the mayor brought this issue forward, and our Public Works Department was in touch with the county. It's gone to their committee level, but they're asking for the matter to be placed before council and provide Mr. Boland, Director of Public Works and Engineering at the county, with a resolution of council. Once the resolution has been provided, we'll place the matter before the Operations Committee again for further consideration.
We did pass one on January the 20th.
We did, and
we passed one tonight.
well, that went to county in order for it to get before the committee, and now they're asking, this is specific for the installation of an all-way stop. They needed this particular wording
Okay.
to come back to committee.
Sure.
My understanding. Okay, pass that.
Moved by David Mackay, seconded by Kathy Rigger. Be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region awards the Cobden Tourist Booth renovation tender to Lehman Construction in the amount of $52,766.48. The township has received a federal grant from the Canada 150 Fund in the amount of $30,000 to be applied towards renovation costs. Christine.
And as we went through previously with Public Works with the garage doors, I asked Deputy Clerk Dillabo to do reference checks on this company. They are before you in a spreadsheet that looks like this. Oops, sorry. And both references are very positive. And there is a result of Terry. There was the spread.
Councillor Rieger.
Quick question for Doug, because there's a $120,000 difference here. Nothing's missed here, correct? There's nothing...
Not that I'm aware of. When we did a cost comparison at the start, we figured 60,000.
Yeah. I was just looking at the one that came in at 172. That was... confused me. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Oh, actually, yeah, we've got to do a vote on it. All those in favor? Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Olmsted.
Just a question for Doug. And I assume you met with them? You had a meeting down there that day with them?
Yeah, we had a site meeting, Chris, and at the site meeting there was 14 contractors there at the site meeting, and we only had 2 bid on it. And Mr. Lehman has phoned and asked questions, 3 or 4 questions on it already, and we've answered his questions, and he seems to be satisfied with his quote.
Thank you.
I'm really I mean, I think it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong that we have that number in there, but I'm really concerned about his pricing. The other one's 3 times that amount. But I'm hoping that he's bang on.
We did check his references, and his references seem to be fine. Hope checked with M&R, and M&R's, he's did 2 jobs, I think, for M&R, and they were happy with both of them. And
okay.
So.
Councillor Mackay.
Probably just threw that high bid in. If we get it, we get it. Maybe they're busy. VWs, they do good work. Probably figured if we get it, we get it. If we don't.
Who knows why people do what they do, Councillor Mackay?
That's right.
Okay. Hard to figure. Okay, moving on. Christine, what am I up to? Okay, we have to vote on this one. I already read it. All those in favor? It's carried. Moved by Dave Mackay, seconded by Kathy Rieger, be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region supports consent applications B 145-15-1 and B 146-15-2 and B 147-15-3. Ross Concession 10, part of lots 12, 13, and 14, Whitewater and Wildlands Tours Limited, upon the following conditions being met. A registered plan of survey is required. Doug, please.
These are 3 severances down by Wilderness Tours. The county had originally wanted rezoning to rural, but we talked to the county that Mr. Kowalski wanted to keep them as tours and commercial, not to have people severing lots off in that area and encroaching more on his business for sound and stuff like that. So, talking with the county, we decided to keep them as tourism and commercial. I have no issues with these lots at all.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Kathy Rieger, seconded by Dave Mackay, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region supports consent applications B 148-15-1 and B 149-15-2, Ross Concession 11, part lots 12, 13, Kowalski, upon the following conditions being met. A registered plan of survey is required. Confirmation received from the township that the conveyance of the lands along Broom Road fronting the property has been finalized and forms part of the township's public road system. Doug.
These are the 2 severances along, I think it's Broom Road, where the widening is going on along there, that Mr. Kowalski's given us some property. So I have no problem with these severances either to go ahead.
Okay. Any further discussion? We'll take a vote. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Dave Mackay, seconded by Kathy Rieger. Be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region supports consent applications B-141-15-1 and B-142-15-2, Westmeath East Front B, part of lots 22 and 23. Hawthorne, upon the following conditions being met, a registered plan of surveys required. The decision of the concurrent minor variance application is held in abeyance until the consent is finalized. Doug.
This is a lot addition and right-of-way release to help an existing lot of record have area to build a house and a septic system. And the minor variance was applied for already. It's held in abeyance until the severance is approved. It's just a swap of land really to create a better lot.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Olmsted.
Doug, is this the one that Mr. Shepherd presented to us at?
That's correct, Chris.
Any further? All those in favor? It is carried. Moved by Kathy Rieger, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region supports consent applications B-137-15-1 and B-138-15-2. Ross Concession 8, part lots 23 and 24, Darlington, upon the following conditions being met. A registered plan of surveys required. Favorable comments are received from the Ontario Power Generation. A solicitor's undertaking to register on title an application to consolidate the pins of the severed lot with the abutting parcel of land to which the severed portion is being added. Doug.
B-138/15 bracket 2 is a lot addition to the other property to make sure that the septic system and not the septic system, but a building that was built there some time ago is on this property. B-137-15 is a severance for the owner of these properties, Mr. Darlington, that he wishes to build a house there at some time.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Dave Mackay, seconded by Kathy Rieger. Be it resolved that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region supports consent applications B-07-16 Ross Concession 3, part of lot 16, done. Upon the following conditions being met, a registered plan of surveys required. Favorable comments are received from the Township's chief building official that the proposed easement location will not impede future residential development of the lot.
This is a bell easement that's going across the property, and there is enough area on this lot to have a septic system, and so I have no concerns with it.
Okay, any further comments or discussion? All those in favor? It is carried. Moved by Kathy Rieger, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region enter into a contribution agreement for funding under the Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Program, CIP 150, with the Federal Economic Development Agency, FEDEV, Ontario, for the rehabilitation of the Whitewater Region Tourist Booth. The approved amount of the funding under this program is $30,000. Christine would like to speak to this.
Hope has generated a report for you. It looks like this. It's in your package. The agreement is being prepared. This resolution is a requirement of the agreement. Hope and I discussed this, and we bring it before you now to have it passed so that the timelines are fairly tight. So the moment we get the agreement, we can sign it up, and they've got the resolution they need.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? It's carried. Okay, have we got any councillor announcements tonight? We are going. Does anybody have any notice of motions for future agendas? Seeing none? And now we're going into closed session. I gotta read this out, or what?
I can read it if you like.
There you go.
Moved by Kathy Regier, seconded by Dave Mackay. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region went into closed session under Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act at 7:40 p.m. for the following purpose: personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and there are two issues on this matter.
All in favor?